Healing and reconciliation remains the agenda as we settle into the post-2023 general elections. And my name is Callivision. Welcome to our program, Violence Free World. I have as guest once again, Defiant Nwoko, life bencher, former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Akwa Ibom State, and Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Defiant Nwoko, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Kali. Thanks for having me again.
Okay. Well, we're going to shoot into the conversation, but after this special report. But here, don't go away. Electioneering in Nigeria has always been associated with volatility, laced with doses of ethnic and religious slurs. The 2023 general elections was anchored on a tripod consisting of Yoruba, Hausa and Igbo ethnic groups, capped with religious sentiments. It is common knowledge that hate speeches and tough stances preceded the main elections. The Yoruba versus Igbo feud in Lagos that manifested especially during the governorship election is a recipe for greater disaster.
We want our result, our real result. We have suffered enough. All of us are believers of true democracy. That is why we have all come out to tell Nigerians that no Nigeria is greater than any Nigeria.
All other anomalies like thuggery, voter suppression, and hate speeches frustrate the electoral process and contribute significantly to the challenge of voter apathy. As the nation grapples with the challenges thrown up from the 2023 general elections, it is perhaps paramount to celebrate the rare gains from this last exercise that saw an unlikely political party rattle the big wigs by coming a close third and winning a sizable number of seats in the National Assembly. Finally, there is a need to embark on a very aggressive healing and reconciliation program in getting the nation on course to greater stability again. Those who triumphed at the polls must be magnanimous in victory, just as losers need to believe that they can indeed win in the next elections, even as some continue to explore the legal options. Welcome back. Now, Defiant Nwoko, let's go straight into the conversation now. Bickering has continued and is refusing to go following the 2023 general elections. Some persons insist that if you want healing and reconciliation, you cannot discuss that outside of justice and fairness. They do not even trust the court process. How does this worry you?
Well, it's been a very deep source of concern to any well-meaning Nigerian. The unfortunate events that played out during the presidential and National Assembly election on the 25th of February would make it difficult for us to ignore the fact that we need to worry about Nigeria. As it stands, those who purportedly won the election are calling for peace, calling for truce. People sit down and discuss. But you see, it's like you say you want to kill a tree, and you climb and cut the branches, and they all fall to the ground, and you think or you act as if you have to kill that tree. That every branch you have cut will bring out more than 2-3 branches, and you are compounding the problem. And so the dashed hope of Nigerians as it concerns that election. The failure to deploy the technology that INEC had canvassed, advertised, propagated, assured Nigerians that it was going to be used, and eventually failed to use it. And brazenly so, are all things that give us a very deep source for concern. And then, of course, we now talk about the bickerings that will refuse to go. Why would it go? It wouldn't go like that. And more importantly, those who won the election and their lieutenants are not speaking with mouths and sounds of peace. People are still thinking, acting as if as if they won it without any issues. People are still acting as if without them others cannot survive. People are still acting as if Nigeria is not one. When you go, let me take Lagos for example, which is a very, Lagos is the center of Nigeria, a cosmopolitan place where everybody lives. Certain people in Lagos, and let's begin to call spade spade. Let's begin to call things by name. Most of the people, possibly of Yoruba origin, are making it very uncomfortable for people from outside, and particularly the Igbos. And you know that when you go to Lagos, once you are not from the 5 states of Lagos that speak Yoruba, once you cross Bendel, the old Bendel, like you cross Edo State, you are classified as Igbo. You are automatically Obon Igbo. So all of us from Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Rivers, Delta, everybody is Igbo. So long as you don't speak Yoruba in Lagos, you are an Igbo man. That's what they call you. You are more Igbo. That's it. So the attack on what looked like the Igbos in Lagos is actually an attack against everybody from the eastern part of the country. Because they don't ask where are you from. They don't ask Akwa Ibom or Cross River or Rivers where are you from. Everybody, so long as you don't speak Yoruba, an Igbo man, and that's what happened. And in most these predominantly non-Yoruba populated environments, they were prevented from voting, brazenly so. And then you had a situation where one character, MC Olomo, came out on national television and said, if you are not going to vote for Tinubu, don't even come out of your house. And they put it to practice. They demonstrated it. That's the reason why these bickerings will not easily go away. But I believe the way forward is that we need to recognize the fact that respect the sensibilities of other persons, of other tribes.
Yeah, how does this connect to the fact that the election actually ran on a tripod of Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, as it was in the early 60s or in the mid 60s? Now, you have Tinubu, you have Peter Obi, you have Atiku Abubakar representing all these affairs. Of course, we have other persons from the, but I'm talking about the dominant political parties as far as this was concerned. How does this affect our quest to achieve national cohesion?
Kali, in the last, call it 8 years now, of the Buhari administration, Nigeria has gone down deep in division. We have never been this divided. The students of history will tell you, those who want to be honest about Nigeria, Nigeria has never been this divided. On political lines, on ethnic lines, on religious lines, we are highly divided. That played out during that election. Except for the, I would say, the intervention of the youth mobilization of the obedient group, we were completely running polarized politics. And this is because people have agitated, people have cried, people have advised over the years, said, let us try and build bridges across the country. But this administration that is coming to an end very soon has not helped us in doing that. And that is the truth. Now, what that manifested clearly is that in a place where you had a large concentration of people from all ethnic groups in Nigeria, like in Lagos, it burst out openly that Nigerians are not one. That lack of oneness, that deficit in unity, that deficit in cooperation played out in a place like Lagos.
Maybe you want to consider this postulation too, that the Yorubas showed some sort of sophistication in their voting attitude, their voting culture, that they gave votes to the Hausas, they gave votes to the Igbos, as in they gave votes to the Labour Party, gave votes to PDP, and they also gave votes to their own. Of course, they had to protect theirs. But so to show that in Lagos, or the Yorubas did not actually manifest that.
It wasn't a Yoruba issue at all.
Yes.
It wasn't a Yoruba issue.
Yes.
It was the obedient thing cut across Nigeria.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying Lagos is a basket of Nigeria. There is no ethnic group that doesn't have substantial presence in Lagos. And the voting pattern in Lagos was not voting pattern of ethnic. The voting pattern of Lagos, if they had even allowed it to play out completely, it was highly truncated. If the managers of the electoral process had allowed Lagos to vote the way the mindset of the youths and highly mobilized, highly mobile voting population in Lagos was, the result would have been much more damning for those who think that they own Lagos. Because it wasn't a Yoruba affair, it wasn't an Igbo affair, it wasn't a Hausa affair, it wasn't North or South. It was people who believed that they could change Nigeria. It was people who believed that they should move Nigeria on a different trajectory. So it's not a question of the Yorubas being sophisticated in voting. No, it wasn't anything. When you move from there, get into Ekiti and see the results. Get into Osun and see the result. Get into Ondo, Ogun and see the result. Then that you now see the picture of the ethnic pattern of voting that the election witnessed. You can't use Lagos to measure anywhere, just like you cannot use Abuja to measure anywhere. Those are places that are consist, their population generally is made up of people from all over the country. But when you now check through the various states and check the voting patterns in these various states, you will now see how divided we are as a country.
But so this is getting more interesting. I think we'll have to come back after this break. This is Violence Free World. We'll be right back after this time out. Be here. Welcome back. This is Violence Free World. Protestations are things that are incumbent on elections generally, but the persistent protest here now, as it is to do with the 2023 general elections, how does this affect the question of legitimacy for Bola Ahmed Tinubu as he prepares to take over on 29th of May 2023?
When you see a long-drawn protest, yes, check the foundation, the reason. This protest is subsisting, is refusing to go because of the real reason behind it. It's injustice. People don't believe that INEC did the right thing. People are protesting against INEC's brazen act of violating what they had promised to give. So, protest. I was a much younger person in 1993. 1993-94, when we had the June 12 crisis. I was one of those that used to enter the streets of Lagos to protest the annulment of the June 12 election. And we did that on daily basis for months. When people are protesting injustice, you don't expect them to just protest and go back to sleep. Because it pains them when they lie down and sleep. It frightens them that this can happen. So in spite of, I remember, we got to a point where I was living at Onisemo Street at Pedro, 93, 94. And we would protest all the way from Bariga to Palm Grove and move from Palm Grove back to Bariga and do that the whole day. There was a time they sent out military and police to attack us. But I remember for a whole week, the team of mobile policemen that were sent to police that side even came into cooperation with us. I said, when you are moving to Palm Grove, you will walk on the right side, the police will go on the left-hand side of the road. When we are returning, when we are going back towards Bariga, the police will be on the left-hand side and will be on the right-hand side of the road. From morning till evening. Because there was injustice in the land that had touched everybody and nobody was happy with it. So when you have this kind of brazen situation where it is like they push it into your nose, it is difficult to have it just go away like that. What has happened now is like a man walks into a community and steals a community goods. And they pursue him and he runs and runs and runs. Then all of a sudden he sits down and says, gentlemen, let's have peace. Let's eat together. This is the good. Let's eat together. Let's eat together. You stole it. It's not your own. It belongs to the community. But you now want to play the big guy. You want to play the good man. Let's all of us sit down. Why can't we have peace? Why can't we eat together? Whose goods are you eating? APC is telling everybody to come and sit down now and eat together. Eat what? How did we secure this? How did it come? The INEC chairman should have done us the favor of keeping to his words. Nobody would have protested. Listen, Tinubu could have won the election. Anybody could have won the election. Nobody would worry about it. If the due process were to be followed, nobody would complain. I will not complain. We win the election and go with it.
How about sparing Tinubu and concentrating on INEC? So he can, because he needs that legitimacy.
They work together.
How do they work together?
No, you see, Kali, let's be realistic. The chairman of INEC could not have done what he did free of charge. Somebody compromised him. And it couldn't have been another person than the person who benefited from that compromise. So it will be, I'll be running away from the issue. If I say, no, let's talk about INEC. No, it's not right. But the only way I blame INEC more than the beneficiary is that INEC had the legal capacity, had the legal backing, had the support of Nigerians to stand its ground and say, no, I won't be compromised. We didn't have that.
Wonderful. Now, okay, as way forward, if legitimacy remains such a very big challenge, is it not giving credence to that call for interim national government?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
What is your position on that?
Tinubu should be sworn in.
Yes.
Those who lost the election are in the tribunal. Due process should be followed. There is this idea of interim government comes from the pit of hell, and it cannot even fly. Let me tell you something. With all due respect to the leadership of the DSS in Nigeria, I think they're just looking for relevance. Interim government is not bought in the market. Interim government is not put in Ghana must go. You say go and buy it and bring. Interim government cannot be done without Buhari, a living president. So if they say somebody is capable of putting interim government in Nigeria, they are indicting Buhari. What is interim government? Where will they run it? In the market? Or in the village square? Before you can run interim government, you must enter Aso Rock. And you mean that the president cannot protect Aso Rock? The commander-in-chief of Nigeria?
So you mean if it's happening, then it's happening with his corporate?
It has to be. It cannot be otherwise. I say that anytime, any day. The report of DSS is not a well-thought-out report. Let me manage my words. It shows the level of their understanding. In a polity, you cannot create interim government without the cooperation of the sitting government. We are not having a street protest. We are not having this is not like which of these countries that people are running day and night in the street and setting fire to places. No. Even if you do that, when we did it, listen, interim government that we had in 1993 was a product of the government of that time, which was the military. There is no way you can have interim government with all the structures of government in place. You have a functional executive, a functional legislature, a functional judiciary, a functional military, a functional police. And then you say the possibility that trying to engineer for intelligence. How will it come? Is the president dead? Even if the president were to be there, is there no vice president? If all the structures are functioning. Listen, that issue should not even, I don't know how it came up. We are expecting Tinubu to be sworn on May 29th. Those who are in the tribunal will go and do their best. Listen, they may not win, but they will make their points.
Do you suspect that someone inside of the present government is behind this idea of the interim national government?
Somebody is trying to generate something and make some money. You know, in Nigeria, we have conflict entrepreneurs. They are all over the place. That is why when you have crisis generate or erupt in a particular part of Nigeria, it hardly goes. Because for that particular crisis you are seeing, there are people who are benefiting from it. People are building houses, people are buying land, people are buying new cars from that crisis you are seeing. That's why the crisis hardly go. As I'm talking to you now, if you enter most of these states that have crisis, there are people who are working. The governors may not know, but there are heads of the governor that generate crisis and make money from their boss. I'm telling you, let the security agencies do their intelligence work. There are people who generate crisis in every segment of the society to make money from it.
I hope you're not referring to this provision, this money that is kept by executive governors and the presidency.
What do they do with
security votes?
Do you know how security votes go? A governor that does not work, the governor that does not manage his team well and put his foot down will live under the cage of lieutenants who are trying to eat from that security money. The governor may not even get much out of security funds. A governor may not get much out of security because he must make sure that every sector is properly lubricated so that he can have peace. It takes a lot of commitment, investment into security. You sit down now, they say, pirates are attacking fishermen in water, in Cross River, in Akwa Ibom, in rivers. The pirates are all over the place. Go and find out who are these pirates. The pirates inside the water have connection with people on the land. Or you go there, they say, these bandits. These bandits you are seeing in the north, the bandits are in the bush, but they are connected to people in the city.
Well, as we went down now, maybe this rather on a very general note, the much talked about state police failed to manifest, especially as the president signed the last amendment, and the state police did not scale through. How disappointed are you with this?
Well, like I said, we are moving forward. It may not be at the speed that we will be happy with. The issue of power devolution, the view of ideal federalism, fiscal federalism and all that is a long struggle in Nigeria, including the power generation, distribution and transmission and all that. But this president, at least, he has someone of courage to sign a few. He might not have signed all. I give him credit for that. He has some days he can still sign more before he leaves. We need to talk to him. He needs people to advise him. I believe that state police is a necessity in Nigeria. At the beginning of it, it may not operate in a very good way that you want to appreciate it, but he will make his own mistakes. He will correct them. He will evolve gradually. And eventually, it will get to a point where the state police will now see that it is a welcome development. It's like you also have the correctional centers. It's been taken out of the exclusive list to the concurrent list. Power transmission and production and transmission and generation and all that is taken out. So even if Buhari does not sign all, including state police, I believe that the next president coming in, and let Buhari allow some things to remain for Tinubu to come and sign. Because Tinubu was Tinubu of Nadeko, Tinubu of advocacy for power devolution. Tinubu has always advocated for true federalism in Nigeria. Tinubu is now the next president from May 29. Let things remain. I will use and test Tinubu in his first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years as he's coming in.
We're talking